Welcome to Neppy Invests the World, episode 3. So first of all, I'll just do a disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor, and as such, this video does not contain financial advice. It is purely for entertainment purposes only and may not contain factual information. Please speak to a financial advisor if you need financial advice. Now, today I'm going to be talking about this company called Magnis Energy Technologies. And there is a story behind why I'm discussing this today. Now, for disclosure purposes, I am not a shareholder of this company. I have never been a shareholder of this company. But the story behind this was just over a month ago, I received a text from my nephew, my 12-year-old nephew, and that text was, "Hi, Uncle Michael. It is me, Ryan. I was wondering if you could help me. I would like to know where to invest my $1,000 in my bank account on shares. Some help would be really nice." And then about 1 or 2 weeks later, I did get a phone call from him, and they decided to put some of his money into this company called Magnis Energy Technologies. So what does Magnis Technologies do? Well, I've actually been following this company for quite a few years, and originally when I did know them, they were actually under a different name called Uranex, a code of UNX, and that URA was because they did actually have a uranium interest. They demerged that uranium interest and then changed the name to Magnus Resources under a ticker code MNS. And then they've changed the name further to Magnis Technologies, or Energy Technologies. So their interest lies, or they have 3 areas of focus. First area of focus, I will just talk about their graphite project, which is in Tanzania. So Southeast Tanzania, Africa. So it's a graphite mine, 100% owned by them, not in production yet. Always a little bit wary of mines in this part of the world. The Tanzanian government isn't the safest, so they can be very wishy-washy when it comes to mines. I do know there is a coal mine that's having a lot of problems with the government there. Now, in a presentation in... actually, I'll just go through a little bit further in their presentation. They did mention, this presentation goes back to October last year, they did mention that by June, July this year, they'll be in construction mode and then 20 months to completion. Now, bit of a grain of salt when a mining company has this timeline or this project schedule. And if I go back to a presentation they did in 2016, here, February 2016, they did mention that production would begin in 2017. Here it is. So in this presentation, they did mention that right at the bottom there, production Q1 2017. So of course we're now in 2020. They haven't got to production. So always, whenever a mining company has this development timeline, just use a bit of, don't always believe it 100%. When they, at this point in their life cycle, I think graphite was going through a bit of a boom, bit of a FOMO period where price was going up and a lot of companies were trying to get into the graphite sector. It's now a little bit out of favour, and that's why they really haven't developed the mine yet. They are still wanting to develop, but haven't quite got there. Another thing they've gotten into is battery technologies. So they have a 10% interest in a company called C4V, which is a US-based lithium-ion battery developer and innovator. Located within Binghamton University, where this guy here, Professor Nobel Laureate Professor Stanley Whittingham, is located. I'm pretty sure he's a non-executive director within Magnus Resources. So he's heavily involved in lithium-ion batteries. That's what this LIB is. So this company really is into lithium-ion battery development and innovation. Another thing they do is they have a stake in 2 lithium-ion battery factories, one located in New York They have about a 51% interest, although I do believe that has grown to 53% since this presentation. And they also have a 33 1/3% interest in a Townsville battery project. So they call these gigafactories, although I'm pretty sure gigafactories is in relation to Tesla battery factories. So I'm not sure what's the go with that. So that's what they do. I'll just before I go to the charts, I'll just look at their finances. So they are not making any money. So we can actually have a look at a recent cash flow report in 31st of July, just over a month ago. So cash flow, they are not bringing in any cash. So all mining companies need to, or most mining companies, especially those profitable, need to report a quarterly cash flow statement. So receipts from customers, it's zilch. So no cash, so they are leaking cash. So last quarter they leaked about $1 million in cash just from operating, a little bit more of that because of investments in some of the companies they've made. So another thing to look at in a company like this is to see how much cash they have on the books. So if you're right at the end, last period they had only $466,000 in cash. So there is potential of a capital raising to increase that amount of cash, or they might go into debt. So that's something to keep in mind when you're looking at a company like this. Now this is just a chart of Magnis Energy over the past 4 or 5 years. I mentioned the previous, just go back a little bit, previous presentation I released was in February 2016, which I'm circling right here. And just after that, they went through a rapid increase in share price from about 20 cents or 20, 30 cents all the way up to $1.10. Rapid rise in share price. And then since then, we've seen just a steady decrease in price. You can see really a good wave action in the price. And then really from 2017, I've put a trend line in here. This is that blue line here. That's a trend line. That trend has just gone down. And each time, the reason I put this trend line in is each time share price has reached this trend line, share price has gone back down. So here's one, here's one, here's one. This one got close, got close, got close. This one did go over. So that was, at that time, I was keeping a close eye on potential change in trend, change in sentiment at that one, but it then retraced. You can just see here, if you look at the volume, with that increase in share price, there wasn't a lot of volume. So that's another reason I wasn't paying that close attention to it. Share price keeps going down. We saw a rapid increase in share price here at the start of 2020, sort of a parabolic share price increase. I don't like parabolic share price increases. I think that can lead to danger. And the psychology behind this is any shareholders who bought like 4 to 6 months earlier, sort of in this area here, sees the share price increasing to here and will sell out. I've seen a lot. People say as soon as the share price goes back to where I bought, I'll sell out. That's what happened at this, especially the parabolic rise. And as we keep going through the start of this year into the end or middle of this year towards the COVID crisis, we did see the share price start to just level off around 5 cents. That's a good sign. And then any increase in share price here wasn't rapid, wasn't parabolic like back in early January. So any shareholders who want to get out could get out. Not a lot of FOMO even at that point. We also saw at this point, so no tightening in the moving averages. I'd really like to see a tightening in the moving averages before I get interested. But we did see that tightening in the moving averages around start of June, July. And then just if I zoom in a little bit more, around this price here, so there was a bit of resistance at about 9 cents or so, and it broke out of that resistance on increasing volume. So this would have been a good time to buy. The other thing this is, we saw a break in the trend line. So we see that trend line go down. So we had two things going for it: break in the trend line, and we also saw a break in resistance, moving averages started going up. This was a good sign, a change in sentiment. And my nephew bought at 9.6 cents, which was around about here. So he timed it to perfection. Now, we've seen a couple of really good announcements. So this was an announcement released on 24th of July in regards to their battery technology, 10% interest in C4V. And C4V have developed an extra fast charge battery, so over 85% charge achieved in 6 minutes. That's very exciting because it's one of the things they really need to do with electric vehicles is have a very quick, fast charge. So that was on the 24th of July, and if we go back to here to charge, that was just here, there, right there. So between 20 and 25 cents. Share price has leveled off since then. We've seen decreasing volume, and that was that announcement. We also saw that a peak in volume. But since then, we've seen a drop-off in volume. Share price has gone sideways, it's consolidating, and there is potential now, I think, for increasing share price going forward as the share price is moving towards a 20-day moving average. So fairly excited about the future of Magnis Energy Technologies. The one thing I would like to see is a little bit of cash coming in the door, so maybe some of these battery factories will bring that. Not sure when they're going to go into production, but hopefully that's soon. So a lot of things going for this company right now. The only thing I would like to see, as I mentioned before, is the financials, some cash coming to the doors, but yeah, technically looks fantastic at the moment. So that's all for today's edition of Neppy Invest the World. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you later.